You don't have to hate your face, even when living in a world that sometimes feels like it's always telling us that we should. It feels almost like a default expectation, especially on women, that we should have Botox, fillers, or other injectables. And not just aging women, young girls at 18 or in their young 20s are turning to plastic surgery and aesthetics and coining it preventable. To be clear, I'm not anti anything. I think people should do whatever makes them feel good, and I think that especially when it comes to women. Whatever makes us feel confident within ourselves, I'm the first to say, go for it, sister. Because we live in a world that constantly attempts and often succeeds, telling women why they aren't good enough, pretty enough, young enough, thin enough. A world where we're expected to be Superman all of the time and look good while doing it. But let me get you zoomed in so we can talk a little more. There are plenty of people who speak on this topic who haven't had aesthetic procedures done and embrace aging, another popular coined phrase. Well, I'm in the boat of doing what makes you feel confident and not judging others for what makes them feel confident. For 38 years of my life, I decided against injectables and fillers. Even when I lived in small town Iowa, which isn't as like norm as big cities to get these procedures done, I was online enough to see my friends and my peers sharing their experiences with lip fillers and Botox. Moving to Las Vegas almost 5 years ago, I mean, I can definitely confirm that it is much more normal here. I mean, people will squeeze in Botox appointments on their lunch break, and you know, I've definitely had a conversation or three with girls in their young 20s that are already, you know, well established in the injectable game. Again, to each their own. But I would be lying to you if I sat here on camera and said that I never thought about, researched, or even had a consultation for something like Botox or a filler, even back when I lived in Iowa. Being an online personality since 2009 has extremely damaged my self-esteem. And this is something that I hear talked often from other creators who say similar things. Just last week, I had a scathing comment left for the whole world to see about how much I need braces, something that I'm already insecure about, but someone online feels the need to like push in that insecurity even more. For what? I don't know how that's moving their life forward. But that's what I deal with on a daily basis. I constantly receive criticism on my skin and my acne. Even sitting down to do something like a get ready with me, starting makeup free, always makes me feel self-conscious because I just brace myself for those comments of letting me know how imperfect I am. But even more than that, I have a job where I look at myself all day long, whether it be in filming or in editing. I am always up close and personal with my face and can see all of my flaws on a daily basis. And then my comment section confirms what I see. Not a beautiful girl. Not by today's societal standards, at least. Okay, but for real, y'all, there are plenty of things I like about myself, not just the physical attributes here. I think it was important to deliver a statement that deep because I'm sure a lot of us have felt that same way. Maybe some have decided to try out aesthetics and see what they think. Maybe some are regulars. And maybe some are in the embrace aging category. Whatever it is and wherever you may be, this whole video is to remind you, you don't have to hate your face. You don't have to not feel pretty because of the wild expectations that get put on us today. You don't have to feel less than just because you're up against the internet with hate comments that might be throwing a creator under the bus for her crooked teeth. And you think to yourself, well, I have teeth just like Sam. And maybe you haven't been insecure about that, and now that you are. Or maybe it's something that you have been insecure about, but you see a comment left on my page, and then now that affects you. I think that is the domino effect that happens when it comes to hateful comments on the internet. It's not just the creator who is seeing them. It is multiple people who are seeing them and can also be affected by them, especially when it comes to women and our looks, and especially when it comes to possibly even young girls watching videos and then seeing a comment section like that. You don't have to feel less than or not as pretty because you see filtered photos all day on the internet or videos on the daily and you're thinking, damn, I don't look like that. You are beautiful, and I'm gonna need you to remember that. I forgot my hairband, so don't judge me too much. Of course, I will have any of the products that I'm using linked in my description box. A lot of these are from my latest Shop My Stash, and a lot of these you're gonna see are similar to the last Get Ready With Me that I did. But that is the spirit of my channel. I don't feel like I need to use new in every single video, especially when it comes to a get ready with me, and really want to use the products that I grabbed out for my Shop My Stash and give them some love. And it's been so fun to reach for the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar once again, because I feel like it's been so long since I've used this. But like I said, everything will be linked in my description box, also the YouTube shopping button, which should be popping up for you here. But in this video, what I really wanted to do was share my experience going to South Korea and the treatment or treatments that I decided to do to my face. I always told myself as a creator, if and when the time came, I would share if I was making any changes that went beyond skincare I can recommend to you, and telling you to drink more water. Well, I have tried really hard over the last decade to keep up with things like facials and then hydrofacials and then microneedling. When we put South Korea on our Asia itinerary, I thought, this is my time to really research skincare treatments. I've talked recently about how I spent the last month in Asia. I went to Japan, I went to South Korea, and I went to Thailand. And again, South Korea is extremely well known for their advances in skincare and aesthetics. And I thought, if I'm going to Seoul, it feels like the perfect fit for a first timer. And I definitely have some varying thoughts in my experience. I have positives and negatives. And when I was thinking about the negatives, I actually thought it would be an interesting video to make, especially around the topic of you don't have to hate your face. I knew one of the main treatments that I wanted done is called Regeron injections, or as the internet has coined it, salmon sperm injections. I'm going to read a little bit more in depth to you because I want to read you all of the correct information. So Regeron is an injectable skin healing treatment developed in South Korea, and it uses polynucleotides, we're going to say PN, derived from salmon DNA. These PNs are extremely biocompatible with human skin and have strong regenerative properties. Now, some things that I want to point out when it comes to the Regeron injections is Regeron is not filler. It does not change the shape of your face or the structure of your face. It works on the quality of your skin, healing, strengthening, and smoothing. And it's kind of similar to skin boosters, but with a regenerative twist. Regeron originated in South Korea and originally started in the hospital in wound healing research because PN helps tissue repair faster. It then expanded over into dermatology because doctors began using it for acne scarring and post-laser recovery because patients healed significantly faster with these injections. Enter the rise of the glass skin era, which was circa 2018, and especially Korean influencers began sharing and posting about their post-Regeron glow. Not shiny skin like filler, but it was healthy, bouncy, youthful skin that we were seeing. Then around the time of 2020, we almost had a pullback against something like fillers. We began seeing popular videos of people deciding to dissolve their lip filler because that's the only way that you can get rid of fillers, by dissolving it. We were learning more about the migration of filler and how it almost began having some people looking a little bit distorted, and there almost became this not sure I want to do that, not sure that's a good idea. And then enter Regeron, because that was kind of a perfect middle ground. Because again, it's not filler, so there's no volume being added to the face, there's no change in facial structure or face shape, and you just have healthier, younger looking skin. And then especially in the last few years, with such the rise of social media, global dermatologists have started showing the before and after effects of Regeron, and the popularity really exploded. So I'm going to a holiday party tonight, so I think I want a little bit of an icy look, but with a little fun twist. So I was thinking green. So these are the Super Shocks from the Colourpop Super Shock trios. I've been loving. They just came out with 3 new trios. Been loving them. These are from the Matcha and Mochi set. This one is Think So Mochi. This one is in Double Matcha. For some reason mine didn't come with the name sticker on the back, but looking it up, Double Matcha is described as an olive green with golden duochrome finish. So I'm going to put that down first, and I just use my fingers with these. And then the Thanks So Mochi is described as opal with peachy gold duochrome finish. So again, when it comes to Regeron, the skin quality improvement is really the number one benefit, because Regeron is going to improve the foundation of your skin, the dermis. And this is what instantly intrigued me when I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll go to South Korea and do something to my face for the first time. When I started looking into benefits of, the different procedures that I could do, when I learned that was what instantly kind of piqued my interest, and I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be something for me. Some more benefits include collagen and elastin regeneration, because PN stimulates fibroblasts, which then boosts collagen production, which is what gives you firmer, bouncier skin. It's also going to repair the skin barrier, and I know, you know, talk about skin barrier has been something that I feel like was introduced a few years ago, again thanks to social media, and then all of a sudden everyone and all like the marketing around skincare products was how to improve your skin barrier. But it helps to repair the skin barrier. It reduces fine lines and crepey texture, not by filling the lines, but by strengthening the skin. And again, because this is happening at the dermis. It's going to help shrink pores and improve texture, because a healthier dermis is going to give you tighter, smoother surface. It's going to help fade acne scars, and this was something that I was really intrigued about since I have struggled with hormonal acne for years. I definitely have some acne scarring, and what I also read was something like pairing Regeron with RF microneedling can really have like long-lasting effects and benefits when it comes to acne scarring. It's supposed to give you that more natural, youthful glow. It's not like shiny or reflective, but it's supposed to be more like your skin just, you know, years ago. And it speeds healing after procedures. And this is why Korean clinics often recommend it after something like lasers or microneedling. So you typically do see results around 4 to 6 weeks after your treatment, because again, something different from filler, which is going to give you that more real-time effect. This is working to improve the dermis of your skin, so the results are going to be more gradual. You also see best results with multiple sessions. Most recommend at least 3 sessions about a month apart, and the results can last from 6 to 12 months depending on how many treatments you do. I also thought the cost was lower than what I was expecting when I first started to look into it, because I'm thinking something that works like on healing and strengthening your skin, which to me is like you get more long-term results from that than just like a quick fix type of thing. If you know me, you know I've never really been a fan of like band-aid treatments, which I think is another reason why I haven't done something like a different route in the past. Even when I came to something like healing my hormones with PCOS, I wasn't interested in quick fixes. I was interested in long-term lifestyle changes to get me to be my healthiest self. So same when I came to my skin, but I was thinking that this would definitely be more expensive. And when I started looking into it, I was seeing quotes anywhere from $150 to $500. And of course, it just depends on where you go, how much is being used. And also some places will give different discounts if you do something like a package deal, similar to where I went. So I did just share a video on my Instagram showing what it actually looks like getting this procedure done, and I will say that it's a little bit wild looking. I will say that when I started looking at videos of Regeron, it was like these like crazy like lumps that you would see all over the face, and I was like, what? But that really does happen. For me, I also chose like an aftercare package, which comes with like it was like an oxygen hyperbaric chamber that you went in, and like red light therapy stuff to help with healing. So I feel like my like bumps were almost pretty much gone by the time I woke up. I did also choose to get sedated for this, which is something that you can do in South Korea, because another thing that I learned through my research is that it's very painful. A lot of times, I mean, pretty much every time you do like a numbing cream, but even still, like some videos I saw was like, oh, I wasn't completely numb yet, or like I wasn't even like completely sedated yet, and I could feel it and it was so painful. And I will say another reason why I feel like I have tiptoed into this is because I don't want to deal with the pain. Also something about like seeing a needle close to my face, I don't know if I would love that. And to me, there was so many like cost benefits of going to South Korea. I'm fairly confident when I say the sedation was like $75 and the aftercare package was like, I think like $100. So like I was like, yes, all day. But I will say the most asked question that I saw after I posted that on Instagram, and I put a little question box in my stories, and I said, you know, I'm doing a video on talking about this experience. What questions do you have? You know, a lot of people asked about costs and, you know, where I went. The clinic that I went to is LV Plastic Surgery and Aesthetics in Gangnam, which is in Seoul, South Korea. For me, I just messaged the clinic on Instagram. So I found them because one of my friends had a family member that went to them. And so it made me feel a little bit more confident. Someone I know went there. She had the exact same thing done, the Regeron treatments. And she's like 8 months out and still really likes it, still see effects from it. So that made me feel a little bit better. I also reached out to them directly on Instagram and asked questions. I asked about pricing. I asked about how long it's going to take. I asked about benefits. I was able to go through all their videos, see before and afters, see the treatments. But the most asked question that I kept seeing was, why did I choose this specific treatment, especially for a first timer doing something to her face? Like, why this treatment? And I know that it's definitely been a little bit more of a trending treatment over the last like little while here, and something like when you say like, oh, I'm injecting salmon sperm in my face, and people are like, oh, that's so funny. Like, I don't know if you have ever caught this about me, but I am not someone who is super into like following the trends. And a lot of times when people are like, when it feels like everyone is recommending this one thing, I'm very much like skeptical of it. I'm like, is there a reason behind this? Like, I don't think it does me favors, especially being an online personality. Like, there's definitely times that I should have been like, I need to go with the hype on this one, but it's just not who I am as a person. So that definitely, like, yes, it's probably why I was able to find Regeron as quickly as I did and start to research it. But something like that has no bearing, and I definitely don't think that you should choose to do something to your face just because it's a trending thing at the moment. I think that you should look into it, see the benefits of it, see if it fits for you and what your individual like needs and requests and wants are at that time. And then, you know, do your research and go from there. But the reason why I liked the Regeron so much was because it's about supporting your natural skin and not changing your face. And that was something that like I've always kind of gone back to when I've decided, you know, no, I'm not ready for, you know, a treatment yet, or different things like that. Like, I haven't really wanted to change my face. It's considered one of the most natural anti-aging options. And if you know me, I'm also more about like, anything more like natural that I can do, even again when it comes to like healing my PCOS symptoms and things like that. A lot of the route that I chose to take was a little, you know, more on the natural side, and it leaves you looking like you, just fresher and healthier. And I saw so often that it's great for people who don't want fillers, or again to make any major changes to their faces when it comes to shape or structure or different things like that. For me, I felt like this was actually a very like beginner friendly type of treatment that you could do. And even though it sounds to me like, it sounds like one of the most intense things, like I'm injecting salmon sperm in my face, like to me that sounds very intense. But when I looked more into it, I looked at the origins of it, I looked at the benefits of it, I looked at the before and afters, I was like, oh wait, I think this could actually be a great fit. All of that aligned with my goal of simply just turning the clock back a few years, like giving me that, you know, Paris filter effect on my skin without actually changing my face, the structure of it, or the fear of migrating filler, which if you can't tell, I have. I did combine this with a peel and then RF or radio frequency microneedling, especially for acne scarring. And now I'm just 4 weeks out of my treatment and I can see a noticeable improvement in my skin. Again, how I said like the results are more gradual. I don't think I really saw anything immediately. I mean, it took about 3 days for those lumps to kind of fully dissolve. I had a bit of like redness on my face as well from the microneedling, which is pretty standard. But even, you know, like a week out, I was like staring at my skin. I was like, I don't think I see anything. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, cause I was like getting disappointed. I was like, I went all the way to South Korea. Like, even though we put South Korea on our itinerary before any of this. And then when I started to look more into South Korea, that's when I found the health checkup that we did. We did a full body health checkup, blood work, imaging, ultrasounds, pap smear, mammogram, everything for under $400. Took us 2 hours. Mine was $367. And they gave me a free hot chocolate at the end. But when I started to look into like, okay, what should we do in South Korea besides like in Japan? I felt like we like ate a lot and did some shopping. And I was like, what should we do in South Korea? And I was like, oh, we are doing health checkups. And then I am really interested in skin treatment. But so even though, you know, a week out and then 2 weeks out, I was like, I don't think I really see anything. I was like, just wait, just wait. And honestly, I will say probably just after that like 2 week mark, you know, somewhere around like the 3 week mark, I'll say. I noticed it first in my viewfinder, and I noticed it especially one night when I was out with my friends and we were like doing videos and stuff. We were out for an F1 event. And I remember my friend had her camera and she's, you know, videoing us. And I was like, why does my skin look so glowy? Where that came to my mind was like fresh. Like my skin just, I could tell through her camera that my skin looked better than it normally does. And I was like, oh, is that the salmon speaking? Like, and then from then, I feel like I've been able to tell through camera, through my viewfinder, through photos that I see of myself, through just looking at the mirror, I notice visible improvements in my skin, which has me so excited. It feels softer, bouncier, and it confirmed it to me that yes, I would do this again. I would do the Regime treatment again. I would love to be able to go back to South Korea and do it again. Now, where the topic of this video of you don't have to hate your face comes into play, I want to touch on this before I wrap up this video. And what does it really look like to go to an aesthetics clinic in South Korea? Again, this is something that I looked up myself, I researched, I felt pretty prepared and confident, like knowing what I was about to walk into, because obviously these clinics are extremely popular in South Korea. Honestly, same with the health checkups. There's a lot of options for you. There's a lot of places you can go. You know, I suggest going off of referrals if you know anyone who has been there, or if there's a creator that you feel like you really trust online that is giving their, you know, experience about this, looking at reviews, reaching out to the clinics and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of places that you can choose from. And there's a lot of research that you can do beforehand. But the first thing that you do when you go in is they do an extremely thorough face analysis. You put your face in this like camera type looking thing, and then it's going all around and it's doing an analysis and like even like 3D like imaging or 4D, I don't know what it's called, 8D, who knows. But they're doing like all this imaging of your face. And I mean, you find out everything. It pointed out like flaws about my face that I have never even thought of before. I never thought like that could be a flaw. I never thought, oh, that's something I should focus on. It tells you everything. Like at one point, the guy who was doing it, he goes, yeah, it used to give out like the actual age of your skin. Like, you know, like, oh, you're 38, but your skin looks like 23, or you're 38, your skin is like 58. He goes, it used to give out like the age of your skin, but people were getting so upset with the results that they stopped putting that on there. I was like, yep, okay, well, that checks out. After the analysis, you have a consultation with the actual doctor. And I thought it was really fun because the doctor, like when we walked into his office, he had University of Michigan, like, stuff all over his office. We were like, oh, University of Michigan, like that's where I went to college. I thought that was pretty cool. But you have this consultation with the doctor and he goes over your analysis. Like he looks at your face, he asks you, you know, what are the changes that you want to make? He goes through all of the different types of procedures, and you are having that consultation with him for a very long time and you learn a lot. The thing that I wish that I would have done, and this is my recommendation if you decide to do this, whether you're going to South Korea or somewhere else, I wish I had brought my own like pen and notepad in there or was taking notes on my phone, because he went through so much that when the time came to sit down with like the, you know, consultant or whatever she's called, and she's like, okay, here are the things that the doctor recommended. She gives you the price list of everything, and she went and she highlighted, like for me, I mean, she highlighted like 15 things and was like, this is everything that we recommend and the cost. And I was like, yeah, no, because the first one was like $3,000, and I was like, that's not what I feel comfortable with, and I don't want to do all of these different things to my face, right? But I wish I had had my own notes with me to be like, oh, this was something I was really interested in, this is something that I was really interested in, this is why, this is what this one was good for, because I had very specific things that I was going after, right? Like, not only did I want to look younger, I wanted to focus on acne and acne scarring and that sort of thing. So I wish, and that's my recommendation again, is to like have your own notes with you when it comes to the time where you're actually like choosing what it is that you want to do, because I was like, shoot, I feel like I can't remember. And then it's like, you know, what do you recommend? They're like, we recommend all 13 of these. And I'm like, dang it. So I wish I had my own notes readily available. And I'll say like the clinic, like politely, but also like very firmly gave their recommendations. They're like improvements that you could make to your skin. And this is where I got really overwhelmed. I felt like I spent 2 hours hearing everything wrong with me. And that was a lot. I initially went into my appointment knowing that I wanted Regeron, but I was open to hearing about different laser treatments or anything that seemed like a good fit for me. But I actually ended up doing what I feel like is a pretty basic plan of a peel, RF microneedling, and Regeron. I added on that aftercare, and then I did also do the sedation. So those were the 5 things that technically that was in my packet. I have had multiple people tell me like, that's it, when I say what I did in South Korea, because it is very trending right now, and I've seen plenty of videos like this myself of like, I went to South Korea and did 18 skin treatments in one go. Those are real videos. 15, like 8, 10, 15, 18 treatments all at one time. Multiple lasers, multiple peels, multiple facials, multiple injectables, Botox, like all of the things. And it's also a big reason why people do get sedated, because when you're doing that much to your skin, that's a lot. And so I think especially when I tell people like, oh, I was put under, they're like, oh my gosh, you must have done like everything under the sun. And I'm like, yeah, I just did a peel, which really you don't need to be sedated for. And then the RF microneedling, which I've done microneedling, and it's like, it can be a little like uncomfortable at times, but again, it's not something I feel you need to be sedated for. It was really just the Regeron. But people are like, that's it. Like, you went to South Korea and you did like literally the bare minimum. But I want to stress that I did what I felt was right for me. Because at the end of the day, I don't hate my face. Yes, I struggle with acne and acne scarring. And yes, I'm 38 years old, so I don't have the most youthful skin, and I have wrinkles and I have the lines on my face from living life for 38 years. So maybe I do look better with a filter on sometimes, and maybe I don't look like some of the drop dead gorgeous Instagram models that I see on my feed every single day. But instead of making me want to fix everything, being at the clinic and hearing all of my flaws and imperfections actually grounded me in the fact that I like my face. I've lived in it for almost 4 decades. I didn't want to walk out of that clinic looking like a different person. Even though, yes, now when someone compliments my skin and I say thank you, like a lot of times I'll be like, oh, and I haven't even done anything to it, because I think, especially living in Vegas and being almost in my 40s, when you're like, oh, I've never even had Botox, people are like, really? And then people are like, wow, you do have really nice skin. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So yes, maybe I can't say that anymore and have that like shock value to the conversations. But at least I know for me, I was really intentional about my choices, especially for the first time doing anything. And I'm happy I can say that. And I'm grateful that I had a good experience, especially flying to another country for it. That would be such a bummer if I didn't. And hopefully I can pass on this reminder to you that whatever makes you feel confident, you rock that joy. I don't think that we should feel ashamed for wanting to look our best, but I also don't think that we should be bullied into thinking we are broken. It's such a personal decision, one you shouldn't need to defend to anyone, less be it yourself. But I wanted to share my experience, my results, and I wanted to remind you, you don't have to hate your face. So I hope you enjoyed getting ready with me today. I hope you took something away from this video. I, of course, would love to hear your thoughts on it, and I will see you in the next one.